Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Man, I'm hungry. Is you looking for good eating? Just stay in the path to the network with the best. Rapper hook you up fast. They keep it crispy with the 411. They keeping you right, chopping it up, dishing it out. It's tasty, good, but don't bite. The recipes are sublime and info fresh off the vine. Now you see them all free, cause you are what you eat. You too busy chewing on that FAT fat whack. Tune into the F to the O to the O to D food rap. Listen to the kitchen on the show with the utmost. Me and Shawna G, your fly MC chef host. Rap, food rap, food rap. It's time to eat better. I know you feel the pressure. Can I get a yes, yes, sir? A yes, yes, sir. For the hot show on the block, from the street to the hood. Keep it locked. Don't forget the talk. Never tasted so good.
Oh yeah, delicious pizzas, hamburgers, and French fries. Oh yeah, all the fast food I can eat. Oh no, I can't have that. Oh no, I'm hungry. I hear my stomach growling. It's food rap. That's it.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Today is January 1st, 2014.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Nia Marcalle.
I hope everybody's sober and not hungover today.
And what is your name, young lady?
My name is Shawna Glover. Sorry.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I am not hungover. Actually, I didn't drink. I had a very quiet New Year's. I relaxed. I watched TV. I laughed a lot. What about you? What did you do for the New Year?
I watched TV and I relaxed and I did absolutely nothing.
That is the best
nice
thing
and
to do.
peaceful.
I want to remind everybody that we're on a new day and time. We used to be on Saturdays, but we're now on today, Wednesdays at 9 p.m., which we love. We love our new day and time. And we just want to remind you guys, go to goproradio.com, where not only can you hear us, but you can see us. Because we have some great food in the studio. We have great guests, and it's definitely worth watching.
And can I just tell you one thing?
Yes.
Today, January 1st, is National Apple Gifting Day.
Oh,
aside from
really?
being New Year's Day. Just so you know.
Interesting. What is it? So what do you do?
But I have no apple for you. Sorry.
What do you do on Apple? You just give an apple?
You just give an apple to
Why?
somebody.
Just because?
Because it's Apple Gifting
Day.
Day.
Okay. All right. I got to go find an apple and give it to somebody before the day is over. And maybe you save it. He likes apples.
Thank you very much.
I guess we were just gifted apples from our engineer. So funny. All right. We had an awesome guest at the end of, for our first holiday show at the end of last year. Fernanda Copobianco from Vegan Divas. She gave us some really awesome ideas for vegan desserts. You guys make sure to go to her store on the Upper East Side, 81st Street, or visit her website because the food is really delicious. I know I've had it, and I love it. Also, we want to talk about what's up on the menu for this week. It's a new year. It's an opportunity for new beginnings.
That's
and,
right.
Doing all the things that we say we want to do, kind of getting refocused. That's what I like about New Year. So our specialty on the item on the menu this week is resolutions and transformations, New Year's Day special. Our guest is Kevin Moore, who has gone through a huge transformation. I haven't seen him yet. I can't wait to see him. He's an ER trauma nurse at Jersey City Medical Center, and he'll be joining us on the second half of the show. I also want to remind you guys that we have our sponsors. Our sponsor is On the Move, sounds inspired by Mumia Abu Jamal, where we have some phenomenal musicians and artists. We have Public Enemy, Stephanie Rice, Spirit Child, Fred Ho, So Soon, Immortal Technique.
Our lovely Ayanna Jones.
Ayanna Jones. You're never going to get a CD like this anywhere else. Go to bwmovingimages.com and pick up your copy today, please. Trust me when I tell you that we're not doing you a favor. You're not doing us a favor. We're doing you a favor by selling the CD to you. That's what I want to say, because it's that
totally
good.
Worth it. Totally
That's
worth
good.
it.
So, Nita, why are you doing the show? It's a new year. Why are you here?
I'm here because, I want to share, what I discover, what I find. I'm very passionate about food. It's interesting how food is ever evolving, and how what we thought once 20 years ago was good for you 20 years later, 25 years later is not good for you. So as we discover these things ourselves, and we know that this will continue to happen,
Yes.
we share them with our audience, and I love sharing them and talking to people about them with you as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I think even before we had the show, you and I we could talk for hours
Hours.
about what was going on with food and diets and all that kind of stuff.
Hours. And this hour goes by pretty quickly, so it's like we need like 5 hours to talk about food. Seriously.
Definitely, yeah. I know.
I would
All
love
right.
to do that.
Next up on the menu is...
Wait a minute, but what about you?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, because we have to move to our next segment, but I'll be really quick. It's basically, I have to say I'm here for the same reason. I started my last year, January 1st last year, I decided to become a vegan. This year, I've just decided to eat more vegetables because I learned through that whole process that, even though you're a vegan, there's such thing as a junk food vegan.
Oh, yeah.
So I just, I decided that I need to actually incorporate more vegetables into my vegan diet. So that will be my focus this year. And I just love talking to you guys about my journey, my ups, my downs. It's really like a roller coaster ride, and I'm sure a lot of our audience goes through that roller coaster ride as well. So that's why I'm here. Now we move on to our next segment, which is Chop It Up.
Chop it up.
All right. Muhammad has some awesome graphics
I know.
to go along with that. So those of you who are watching, you get to check those out.
So chop it up. So what is chop it up? Chop it up is when Shawna and I, share with the audience. Basically, what we do is we chop down food labels, and we tell you, what they are. And basically our philosophy is less is more.
Yeah.
And if you see too many ingredients in there and things that you cannot pronounce, you probably should be wary of those ingredients. Mm-hmm. So what are you chopping up today?
Well, I just wanted to, I'm going to try to be as quick as possible. I wanted to kind of talk about something that we all, I'm sure, are tricked by, and that's the word wheat. Because a lot of stuff says wheat on the label, on the packaging, the advertising, but doesn't mean it's necessarily good for you. So this is an article that comes from institutefornaturalhealing.com, and I'm going to post this on our social networking. Okay. Like most people, it says, if you're like most people, you probably think, quote unquote, wheat flour is the same thing as whole grain wheat flour. Like most people, you're wrong, and that's what food manufacturers want. White wheat bread is made of refined, processed wheat that's stripped of its nutrients, has virtually no resemblance to whole grain wheat flour. A wheat flour or enriched wheat flour ingredient is technically no different than white flour. Manufacturers take whole grain wheat, strip out 11 vitamins and minerals, then add synthetic chemicals that represent only 4 vitamins and 1 mineral. Here's the nutritional math. Whole grain wheat minus 11 nutrients plus 5 nutrients equals quote-unquote enriched. And I know we see that a lot. Mm-hmm. Thus, enriched wheat products are missing the original natural occurring vitamins and minerals found in whole grain wheat. With consumers increasingly aware of the detrimental health consequences of consuming processed milled grains like white flour, food companies and bread manufacturers have been steadily shifting away from their term white flour. So, basically, I'm not going to read this whole article, but what I want to stress to our listeners is look for products that say whole grain wheat flour. Avoid products that say enriched wheat flour, white flour, all-purpose flour, bleached flour, cake flour, or bread flour. Those are no good for you. They're just as bad as the what's called white flour. So, what are you chopping up for us this week?
So what I decided to do is basically not about labels, but I wanted to make a comparison between frozen and canned vegetables now that it's winter.
Oh, yes, that's great. Okay.
Because obviously, vegetables, if you're going to go to the produce stand or the supermarket, are now costing more money.
Yep.
So if you are on a budget and you want to save money, you can either go the canned way or you can go the frozen way. Now, my suggestion is basically, based on what I've read, let me explain to you how it works with the canned vegetables. Canned vegetables basically go through a heating process, and they're somewhat cooked, and what happens is a lot of the nutrients are removed during the heating process. Also, a lot of times there's a lot of sodium added in there, there's sugar added in there, and they're preservatives. When it comes to frozen vegetables, it does go through a blanching process or a steamed process, but then it's flash frozen.
Okay.
So it's basically, although some of the vitamin B and some of the vitamin C is somewhat destroyed, you're retaining most of the vitamins and minerals in your vegetables when they're frozen.
See, I didn't know that. Partially cooked. Okay.
That's right. So, and actually, for me, so as far as I'm concerned, I would opt for the frozen vegetables.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they don't take up as much room in your refrigerator at this time of year. So that is my chop it up.
All right. Awesome. Well, we have 1 more minute to our next segment, so I want to remind people to give us a call, 646-929-1521. We would love for you to join the segment when we have our special guests here, ask questions, all that good stuff. And I also remind you to go to the website to donate. That's goproradio.com. Your donations help us to keep this great content on the air. And it's not just our shows. We have the Kate Thompson Live. We have the BCS Experience, the Sexy Party Show.
The Earl Morgan Hour.
Earl Morgan Out. That's right. So any donation, no donation is too big or too small. $5, $1, $25, $100. Shoot, give us $10,000. We'll take it. And it'll be much appreciated. So next up on our menu is the ABCs of food. All right, so ABCs of food is when Nina and I take a letter of the alphabet and we kind of break down, we give you as much information on that food as possible, and we're back at the beginning of the alphabet, and this week is the letter B. Nina, what do you have?
So I thought to do something a little bit different because we normally pick a vegetable or fruit or something that's really wholesome, and I decided to talk about burgers, which is our producer's favorite thing. He's a burger aficionado.
He is. He's tried them all.
He knows his burgers, so I decided to talk about burgers.
Okay.
Yeah, so the burger is so closely associated with the American culture that it might as well be emblazoned on the U.S. flag. And I must agree.
Yeah, I do.
I must agree. And personally, I actually do bunless burgers right now because I'm not doing any kind of gluten or bread. Okay. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to go over a timeline of different events related to burgers because we know that it's like a patty that's made usually out of different blends of beef. And actually, there's a place across the street that makes phenomenal burgers that I just tried recently.
What's the name of it? Yeah.
You know, right
okay. Oh, yeah,
that's what I mean.
The burger spot. The new burger spot.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just going to go over a timeline of different events related to burgers, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah, so 1802, the Oxford English Dictionary defines Hamburg steak as salt beef. In 1836, New York's Delmonico's, which I'm sure that New Yorkers and New Jerseyans are familiar with, I would hope so, restaurant issues the first printed American menu and lists hamburger steak as one of the priciest items for 10 cents.
I've never heard that place.
You never heard of Delmonico's?
No.
Dude.
I have to go there.
Aren't you from Brooklyn?
I am, but I'm not originally from Brooklyn, but I live there
You've never heard of Delmonico's? They make these amazing mashed potatoes.
And they're in Brooklyn?
No, they're in Manhattan.
Oh. All right, well, I gotta try it. I gotta go there. Okay.
So I'm gonna skip to 1921. Okay. Real estate and insurance agent Edgar Waldo Billy Ingram teams up with cook Walter Anderson to open up the first White Castle hamburger stand in Wichita, Kansas.
You know, the White Castle, people are addicted to White Castles.
I don't know what that's all about.
I don't either.
Those teeny little burgers that make you run to the bathroom every 5 minutes after you have them. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Anderson invents the modern hamburger when he cooks patties of ground meat on the griddle and serves them with a mess of onions in a soft yeast bun. They were sold for 5 cents each in 1921.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Wow, yeah. I had no idea. Wow.
So we're skipping to 1954 because there are actually a whole lot of them. But anyway, Ray Kroc comes across the McDonald's Brothers restaurant in San Bernardino, California, and talks the brothers into signing him on as a business partner. A year later, McDonald's first franchise opens in Des Plaines, Illinois. The franchising fee was $950 back then.
Wow.
Today it's $45,000.
Whoa.
That's inflation, honey. That's inflation.
That is.
1973, George Lucas' classic film American Graffiti is released, reinforcing the hamburger as a symbol of American innocence. The movie's social center of gravity is Mel's Drive-In, inspired by the San Francisco restaurant.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Hamburgers.
Very interesting.
Hamburgers.
Wow.
Okay, let me skip to 1982.
Making me hungry.
1982. You'll like this one. The first veggie burger is created in London by Gregory Sands. Veggie burger.
I like that.
You know
I
what I'm
do,
saying?
yes.
An artist, inventor, social thinker, and macrobioticist who ran the famous natural food restaurant Seed with his brother Craig. His vegan creation, the Veggie Burger, becomes an overnight success.
Awesome. Thank you. What's his name? Gregory Sams.
Gregory Sams. And then in 2003, which I like, low-carb burgers emerge as a result of the Atkins diet. And we're going to be talking about paleo later in the second half hour of the show.
Okay.
Which is how Kevin was able to do his really dramatic transformation.
I tried the burgers wrapped in the lettuce. It's really good. It's interesting and different.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely, I can do it out the bread.
You can do it also like on slices of cucumber. There's so many ways to do it.
Yeah.
You know. So let me jump to 2004, and then that'll be it for the burgers.
Okay.
The documentary Super Size Me. Did you see that?
I did see it. Yes, very good.
A shocking look at the fast food industry's effect on obesity in America is released. Morgan Spurlock's first meal, a double quarter pounder with cheese, value meal, literally makes him sick. Do you remember that documentary?
I remember. That was, to me, that was like eye-opening. Because you don't realize the physical effects that this fast food is having on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was blown away by the documentary.
So was I. So, unfortunately, it's time for a break. So we will be right back.
All right, you're listening to Food Rap on the GoPro Radio Network.
Interrupt this broadcast to bring you a great opportunity. If you have a product or service, a talent or something important to say, now's your chance to have your own radio show. Whether you're just starting out or a veteran looking for a professional platform to enhance your presentation, the GoPro Radio Network is the premier place to cultivate and share new and exciting content. We'll help you to grow your audience and keep it growing long after your first broadcast. Now you have a voice. Call 212-696-8562 today or visit www.goproradio.com and you'll be amazed at how easy and affordable it is to have your own radio show on the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio. Listen to the voices in your head.
The views and opinions expressed on GoPro Radio Network shows are solely those of the speakers and are not necessarily the views or opinions of GoPro Radio Networks, Inc. or its affiliates. These broadcasts are provided on the understanding that they do not constitute professional advice or services. Individuals who speak in these broadcasts express their own opinions, experiences, and conclusions. GoPro Radio Networks and its affiliates do not necessarily endorse or oppose any particular opinion or conclusion discussed in these broadcasts. You may not edit, modify, or redistribute these broadcasts in any way without the express permission of GoPro Radio Networks, Inc. GoPro Radio Networks assumes no liability for any of your activities in connection with these broadcasts or for your use of these broadcasts in connection with your website, computer, or playing device.
All right, and we are back.
And I'm Nina, and this is Shawna. We're the hosts of Food Rap, where talk never tasted so good. And if you want to join the conversation, you can give us a call at 646-929-1521. If you want to watch us live, you can go to www.goproradio.com. Click onto Food Rap. Actually, not onto Food Rap. Click onto the Watch Live button right next to Food Rap, and you can check us out.
Yes, the specialty dish.
Okay, relax. Okay, the specialty dish is up next. Shawna's pretty excited about it, so
yes.
Specialty dish is up next.
Yes. So let me explain it, and I need to hurry up because I'm really very hungry. The specialty dish is when Nina and I take turns making food, and Nina usually always knows how to make my favorite thing. I don't know, which I really appreciate her for doing that. So, Nina, what do you have for us, for me
why don't
this
you
week?
pull out the plate? And what I decided to do is one of your favorites.
Yes.
I decided to make falafels.
Has tinsel all over it. Okay.
I cut up some condiments. There's a pita bread. There's some hummus with garlic in it. There's like sliced onion, sliced cucumber, sliced tomato.
Make it real quick.
And I actually left you some falafels so you can fry some up yourself. It's in the fridge. And basically what I did was I mashed up some chickpeas. And I added
your own hummus.
I actually didn't make that hummus.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have time.
Okay, gotcha.
But that's really good hummus. So I mashed up the chickpeas. I crushed some garlic, some onion, some parsley, some lemon juice. And because I've made falafels in the past with eggs, I couldn't do that with you because you're a vegan. So what I did was I took some rice flour and I added some water and I made kind of like a paste, and that helped it to bind. And I just fried it in some peanut oil, and that's it. So as you put it together,
I know, so I'm having trouble here.
You're making a mess. And I made them small so you could stick them in there. Make sure you put hummus on the top.
Okay, I'm almost done. I just gotta put a couple onions.
Did you put the hummus on there?
I did. I put it inside.
Okay, so taste it and tell me what you think. Well, what I'll do is I will share the social networks in the meantime, because we share everything that we talk about, or the recipes, all of the information we give you on our social networks. So Shawna's quiet, so I guess she's liking it. So anyway, we do have a Facebook page, and it's called Food Rap. And if you want to like that, you can like it, and you can check out everything we're posting, pictures and whatnot. And then we also have an Instagram, which is called Food Rap, and Shawna ends up managing that and posting pictures to our Instagram. I see you're enjoying it.
Hi.
And then we have a Twitter, which is linked up to our Facebook Food Rap page, and our Twitter is Food Rap Radio. And we tweet on there. Whatever we tweet on Facebook ends up on Twitter. And then, of course, we have the Pinterest page, which I manage, and that's the Food Rap Radio Show. And, of course, last but not least, we have our YouTube channel, which is the Food Rap Show, and you can check out this episode as well as some previous ones.
Yes, and before we go to our next segment, I just want to say thank you. I'm in heaven right now. The falafels were very crunchy. The hummus was delicious. You know, all the extra additives, the tomatoes, the lettuce. You know, not the lettuce.
Is it flavorful though? That's what I'm asking.
Very flavorful. I want to eat the rest of it, but I gotta wait till the end of the show. I don't want to look like a pig on camera. But it was definitely delicious, and you guys can try it at home instead of going out and spending your money. You know,
I'll post the recipe because it's actually pretty simple to make. It just takes a little bit of time.
And I would say this is a very inexpensive meal.
Absolutely.
Right? That you can make maybe under $10.
Absolutely.
So there you go. So those who are on a budget, this is a great lunch you can have, or something like that.
I like that. I'm just
all right. All right. Next up is food fight.
All right, so food fight. Food fight is, what is food fight, do you wonder? It's not Shawna and I throwing apples at one another, that's for sure. Food fight is, like when we talk about food in the news or food controversy or anything that's going on with food, throughout the world. So what do you have for us today?
Okay, so I thought since it's the new, this is all about resolutions and recreating and all that good stuff, I thought it'd be helpful to tell people how they can keep their New Year's resolution.
Interesting.
So, one of the things that will help us, it's all about forming a habit, forming new habits, I should say. And it's difficult to underestimate the significance of habit in driving our actions and behaviors. They determine whether our resolutions are kept or crumbled up and thrown into the trash. According to Charles Duhigg, New York Times reporter and author of The Power of Habit, routines and habits are a powerful force underlying much of our behavior. Duhigg writes in The Power of Habit, most of the choices we make each day may feel like products of well-considered decision-making, but they're not. They're habits. And though each habit means relatively little on its own, over time, the meals we order, what we say to our kids each night, whether we save or spend, how we exercise, the way we organize our thoughts and work routines have enormous impact on our health, productivity, financial security, and happiness. So here's 5 suggestions that he makes. I'm going to go through them quickly, and I'm just going to give some examples. One is make it an action, not a goal. Now, what's an example of that?
I like that.
A bad example of, the goal is I want to exercise more, or I want to lose 15 pounds if you're writing down your resolution.
Right.
That would be the way, you shouldn't do it that way. Instead, you make it more actionable by saying, things like only eat 1 dessert per week, or install a new software to block distracting websites at work. Be as specific as possible. Walk up 2 flights of stairs every day, or do 20 jumping jacks. It's the more specific you are, the more likely you are to follow through. the more likely it is to become a habit.
So you mean, for example, like, okay, today, right now, I'm going to go up the stairs.
Right.
Rather than say, oh, I want to exercise more, just do it.
Exactly. Or be more specific.
Okay.
Not that I want to exercise more, but okay, how long do you want to exercise? What type of exercise do you want to do specifically?
Okay.
Every day I'm going to do 30 jumping jacks.
And do them.
Exactly.
Okay.
So yeah, it's about being more specific.
Okay.
Okay. So next is, and I'm going to put the more detailed information online because it's very scientific actually, and I didn't realize it, but it is. Create cues and rewards. So every habit has 3 components known as the habit loop. First, there's a cue which triggers the habit to start and makes your brain go into autopilot mode. Then the behavior itself, and then a reward, which is how the brain learns to remember to crave the pattern. So that's how. Yeah. So I'll mention the last 3 because we have to move on. But anticipate obstacles. People fail to anticipate what the obstacles are going to be, and they kind of, they hit an obstacle and then they kind of get tripped up, or they, let's say they decide I want to jog, for 30 minutes outside every day, but it's freezing cold. It's minus 15 below. Okay. Acknowledge that setbacks are part of the process. So let's say you may have gained a pound, you didn't eat the healthiest, but say, okay, this week wasn't that great, but get right back out there and keep going.
I think you can actually keep going immediately instead of saying this week. Like if it's Wednesday, like, okay, I'll start over again.
Exactly. And I always say this: every minute, every second is an opportunity to start over again.
Absolutely.
Focus on one resolution at a time. When you're setting your New Year's resolutions, we tend to make a long list addressing everything we want to change in our lives. And while it's important to reflect on where you are now and what you'd like to accomplish in the next year, the most effective path to following through on your resolutions is to focus on one thing at a time and figure out what's the most important thing to you. So that's my guide for keeping your resolutions this year. I wish you guys luck, health, happiness, all that good stuff. And we're on to Strange But Food.
Strange But Food.
All right. Strange But Food is when Nina and I, we look all over the globe. No stone left unturned to find the strangest foods out there. And we bring them to you to gross you out just a little. All right. So, Nina, what do you have for us this week?
I'm even perturbed by this, and my stomach is even hurting thinking about it. But I'm going to be talking about monkey brains.
Okay. Gross.
Which are yet another delicacy.
Gross.
Yet another delicacy. So
Indiana Jones. Remember that?
Yes.
Monkey brains.
Yes. Often attributed to the Chinese, but also found in certain other countries. The practice of eating monkey brains has led to overhunting in Indonesia, especially due to the belief that the eating of the monkey brains can cure impotence.
Is everything not connected to this?
Everything is connected to sex. Do you notice that?
I do.
Virility, impotence,
everything.
like really? In Western popular
There's
culture,
other things in the world.
in Western popular culture, the consumption of monkey brains is repeatedly portrayed and debated, often in the context of portraying exotic cultures as exceptionally cruel, callous, and strange. Anyway, so the brain is eaten cooked. The brain is also eaten raw, occasionally directed out of the dead monkey's skull. The dead is also eaten fresh, spooned out of the skull while the monkey is still alive. I've had enough.
That's animal cruelty.
I'm
While
done with
the
that.
monkey's still alive.
Isn't that gross?
That's animal cruelty. That's
Did I
terrible.
outgross you?
All right.
So what are you talking about?
I'm not grossing
What's your
people
strange?
out.
What is your strange with food?
Actually, I mean, it's kind of strange, kind of sort of, but not really. But I thought it'd be interesting to say, what are some strange New Year's Eve habits that are in and around kind of food side? They're not gross though. But okay, so in Spain, revelers are required to eat 12 grapes, one with each chime of the clock bell just after the stroke of midnight. In Brasstown, North Carolina, a live possum in a plexiglass box is lowered onto the ground from a pole outside of a convenience store just because.
What is the point
on the
of that?
countdown? Almost like the ball dropping instead of a possum dropping.
That is so
That's
silly.
retarded. All right, Mount Olive, North Carolina. Those curious folk in North Carolina are dropping more things. This time, a giant pickle replica, which is lowered down a flagpole for good luck. In Eastport, Maine, an 8-foot replica of a sardine sporting dozens of LED lights is lowered, and residents line up to kiss it for good luck.
No me gusta. Me gusta.
Okay. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Those celebrating New Year's Eve in South America's party capital mostly wear white to signify peace in the new year, with dashes of other colors: green for good health, yellow for money, etc., to attract different kinds of luck. No black, though, as this will mean your 2014 is doomed, according to tradition.
That's
all right.
funny.
In Germany, those fun-loving Germans certainly know how to have a good time at New Year's. All over the country, revelers drop bits of molten metal, mostly lead, into cold water, and then hold the resultant hardened metal up to get clues from its shape on what the year has to come. Okay. So in Johannesburg, South Africa, they drop old appliances out the window. And in Denmark, when the clock strikes midnight, people jump off of chairs. And that's it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So we have our special guest coming up in the second half. Be sure to give us a call, 646-929-1521. We're going to break now, and we'll be right back.
GoPro Radio, the fastest growing network in the galaxy, is leaner and meaner with a new attitude, new technology, and a brand new lineup. Tune in and get wired every Wednesday, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern with the BCS Experience featuring Byron C. Saunders, formerly of New York City's WBAI. Then at 6 p.m., it's the Black Agenda TV Express featuring sought-out political commentator Glenn Ford, formerly of America's Black Forum. Then at 8 p.m., it's time for Kay Thompson Live, with the legendary radio host Kay Thompson of Inner City Broadcasting's WLIB, and her son, renowned actor Eric Payne, who starred in such films as Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, Drop Squad, and many more. Then, at 9 p.m., it's Food Rap, featuring Nina Marcalle, a.k.a. the unofficial mayor of Jersey City, and former Viacom marketing guru Shawna Glover. Last but not least, at 10 p.m. Eastern, it's the Sexy Party Show with the bad boy of dating Mr. Locario of I Love New York fame and his partner in crime, Miles Cunningham. So get wired every Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, only on the GoPro Radio Network, www.goproradio.com. Listen to the voices in your head.
You want to know the truth, folks? Do you really want to know the truth? Well, perhaps you can't handle the truth. But if you can listen to GoPro Radio. Tune in at www.goproradio.com. Now, have I made myself clear? GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head. I know I do.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
And we're back. And I'm Nina, and this is Shawna. And we're the hosts of Food Rap on the GoPro Radio Network.
We're talking never tasted so good.
Be sure to give us a call at 646-929-1521. We are now joined by our special guest, Kevin Moore. He was an actor for 25 years when in 2009 he decided to return to school to become a nurse, and I remember when that happened, by the way. He graduated from nursing school summa cum laude in August 2012 with a BS in nursing at University of Medicine and Dentistry of New Jersey in Newark. The day after he passed his NCLEX, he was offered a job as an ER nurse at Jersey City Medical Center in November of 2012. He recently became a trauma nurse and was honored with the Daisy Award for excellence in nursing, with all within his first year as an RN. He is the inspiration for today's show. Welcome, Kevin.
Welcome.
How are you?
So much.
Happy New Year, by the way.
Same to you. Thank you. Can you believe it? 2014.
I
Wow.
know. It just came. It came so fast.
Right?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm still 22, so it's crazy.
I'm right there with you.
So Kevin,
Yes.
so tell us about this transformation that clearly I noticed because
Please
I
excuse
remember.
Muhammad, our
Yes.
technical.
You know what inspired you? Like what happened? Like what happened? Like what was the weight gain all about? What caused that? And what made you decide that you needed to do something about it?
Well, actually, it's gonna sound crazy, but I moved to New Jersey, and I bought a home, and I was unhappy as an actor. I wasn't feeling the passion for my work anymore, and so I decided to change my careers, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and so a lot of anxiety started entering my life, and I got a job, my first full-time job ever, and I was 40, Wow. It wasn't the direction I wanted to go, and I was exercising prior to that, but I had injured myself, and was told that I couldn't do all the exercising I was doing, and I never really had my food thing down. I had the exercise thing down, but I never really had my food thing down, and so when the injury happened and the anxiety entered, and I couldn't exercise anymore, and I was working a job, and it was a great company that I got to work for. I was really fortunate, but it wasn't where I felt my passion was. So that was sort of the start, and then things started to happen. My dog died, and then that was very traumatizing.
I remember that.
And then later on, about a year later, my mom got cancer, and then she passed away. And then a month after that, my friend overdosed and died.
Oh, wow.
And then 2 months after that, I had another friend overdose and die. So it was this series of life's events that slapped me in the face, and I used food, as
So
a
you're
way
an
to sort
emotional
of.
leader.
Oh, whoa! Excuse me, happy, sad, whatever
So
it
I am.
is.
So
Any
am I.
occasion.
I'm an emotional leader too. But
Let's just be frank. I wasn't choosing salad as a way
Right,
to,
yeah.
fill the hole. I was choosing donuts and bacon cheeseburgers.
Oh,
and,
no.
Not all the time, but, and then I was kind of fooling myself because I was doing it what I thought, I was eating organically, but I was organically getting fat. So, and the next thing I knew is I blew up to 320 pounds.
Wow.
And I sort of went, what the hell happened? What? So, I graduated from nursing school, and that picture actually I sent you was graduation, and I was about 300 pounds. I was like 312 at that point, and I was about to start a job, and here I am. I'm a nurse. I'm going to start a job in healthcare, and talk to people about how to get off their hypertensive medications and their diabetic medications, and I'm sort of entering into hypertension and diabetes because I'm so obese, and so. I sort of ventured into trying to lose weight, and I did. I lost about 25 pounds over 6 months. And I had heard from a friend about this integrated medical doctor, and integrated medicine is sort of using a holistic approach to healthcare. So you're using the Western medicines and Eastern philosophies. And I went down to see her, and she did a whole series of blood work, and she looked really deeply, like not just like on the top of like fluid and electrolytes, but she was like looking at like, testosterone levels, free testosterone levels.
Let me interrupt you for a second, Kevin.
Yeah.
Let me just ask you this. Okay, as far as the blood test,
Yeah.
were you told something in regards to your health that made you think, I need to do something?
Well, at that point, I was just fat.
Okay, so no issues with your blood panels or anything like that?
It was starting to. I'd gotten some stuff done, and I had already been warned by my primary doctor that I was becoming pre-diabetic.
Wow.
So my hemoglobin was rising in my blood. And they have a tool called, you can get stuck on your finger and they can check your blood glucose level.
Yeah.
But then they can do this. It's called your hemoglobin A1C, and they can look over the course of months to see how your blood sugar, to see if you're cheating, really, basically.
Okay.
And so, and I was becoming pre-diabetic. Now, most doctors wouldn't treat that. They'd wait till you get to a certain number, which is 7, and they'd say, you're diabetic. My integrated doctor treated me as a pre-diabetic. And so she said, this is a great medicine. Let's put you on it. It can help not only make your insulin more efficient, which is part of why you get obese, is because your insulin rises. You eat and you become really hyperglycemic because your sugar rises really high and you're eating like crappy food. And then you drop and then you get really hungry. And so she put me on a medicine to help curb my carb cravings and help make my insulin more efficient, and put me on a whole slew of vitamins. And she suggested I do the paleo diet. And she said she wanted me to look at the paleo diet.
I like her, by the way.
She's really great.
I really like her.
She's great. And that was June 11th. Well, 2 weeks after that, I got Lyme disease.
Wow.
Yes, I remember that.
And that's totally unrelated. It's just
completely unrelated.
Okay,
I was hiking, so I was out
exercising.
And I was trying to find what I like to do, because that's the key to exercise. You have to find something you like to do, because it sucks.
Yes, this is true.
It sucks. I mean,
dance. You can.
Truth be told. I mean, you just find what it is that you like and do it. So and I really liked hiking with my dog, and it got me outside, and and I was hiking in northern New Jersey, which is endemic for Lyme disease, and I got it. And and then I got I got a really bad case of it because my face went paralyzed. It's called Bell's palsy. So they put me in the hospital and they did a bunch of tests, and it scared the bejesus out of me. So I came out of the hospital, and I thought to myself, and I was already on the road to starting to take care of myself, and I thought, you know what, I really need to I want my body back. And with all the anxiety and stress and that had happened to me, I was sort of settling into my role as a new nurse, and I just was like, I want my body back, I want my mind back, I want to feel good again. And I hadn't felt good in a long time. I wasn't happy. Which God bless people who are obese and happy, and I'm not trying to knock them, but I wasn't. I was really unhappy. I was isolating. People would invite me out, and I wouldn't go.
Well, I want to interrupt you because I want to ask you, what kind of support system do you have? Because I find that if you have a lot of people around you who are kind of cheering you on, instead of offering you chocolate, they're like, hey, I know a great healthy restaurant, or that kind of thing. How's your support system?
It's amazing. So I have a partner. We've been together 16 years, and he's amazing. And he never even had an issue when I was fat. Never said, oh, you're heavy, you're fat, you lose weight. If I would bring it up, he would say, okay, well, if you want to do something, let's do it together, that kind of thing.
Sorry, we have a caller. Let's get our caller on, and they
awesome.
have a question for you. Area code 201, you're on the air. Hello? Oh, you have to turn if you're listening to the show, you have to turn your device down.
Yeah, because it's on the computer, it's a little bit slower.
Yes, delayed, yes. You have a question?
I wanted to ask Kevin and the ladies about paleo, because I sort of don't believe in it. I sort of eat the opposite of paleo, and it's really worked for Kevin. And so I wanted him to explain to me why it's supposed to be healthy.
Okay, Kevin.
Okay, well, the book is fantastic, and I recommend anybody who's interested in it to read the book by the man who invented the diet and did the research behind it. And I don't think the diet's for everybody.
I agree.
But I think the diet was for me. So the idea behind the diet is that you eat all lean meats. So you have lean chicken, lean fish, lean pork, lean beef from trusted sources. No bacon, no sausage. Really any fruit and vegetable that you want. There's some that don't make any sense, like corn, but make any sense in regards to they don't give us anything. And nuts and seeds. You eliminate all dairy, all grain, rice, bread,
Processed food.
That
Pasta.
oh my God, that was so
No
hard.
pasta.
So
It's not hard.
that was for me. It was so I was very slow at first. I did it very slowly. I didn't want to waste food because I loved cereal. So I had like 5 boxes of cereal, but it was like organic cereal. So
Was it sweetened cereal?
of course it was.
Of course.
So
There's always
yeah.
shelters you can
I was sheltering it in my mouth. And I slowly did it. And but I see again, I was under the care of a doctor, so I was being monitored. And the paleo diet is okay. So also no peanuts, no legumes, so no soy.
Right.
So and then oils: olive, walnut, flaxseed, or avocado oil.
What about coconut?
A coconut oil and coconut. Lots of coconut. Coconut's big in the paleo
It's
diet.
awesome.
Yeah. And it's exciting at first because you're like, ooh, if you like coconut, you're like, oh my God, coconut. And then you're like, 6 months into it, you're like, oh God, coconut. So, but.
So you have other options. Just
Yeah,
in case.
you really do.
Okay.
But I was being monitored by a doctor and my numbers all went down. I was eating a diet that's rich in saturated fat, polyunsaturated, and monounsaturated fat. And it was giving me more energy. But you also, because you are eating foods that are mostly associated, when you hear fat, you think it's bad.
Yeah.
But on paleo, saturated fat is a good thing. Monounsaturated fats are good for you. They give you energy.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I actually wanted to bring up this point because I was discussing with somebody that I know the whole thing with paleo and coconut oil, and she was pointing out that her cardiologist was saying that saturated fat is not really good for you. And I'm like, well, not all saturated fat is created equal.
Right.
Yeah.
And coconut oil is a natural product.
Yeah.
Coconut oil is a natural product, and
Yeah.
it's not something that's manufactured in a factory that
Right.
that's been processed and things have been put into it and chemicals. It's natural.
It's so good for you.
It is good for
it's
you.
not just good for you to ingest. It's good for your skin.
It's good for your skin.
Oh yeah, I hear you can take the actual coconut oil and mix it in with some lime. put it
Yeah.
on
It's
skin.
good as a sunscreen.
Yeah.
It's good as a
Oh.
sunscreen.
We actually have to go to a break. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I want to make sure we have enough time to talk to you afterwards. Okay, so you're listening to Food Wrap on the GoPro Radio Network. Thank you, caller, so much for calling in, and we'll be right back.
Views and opinions expressed on GoPro Radio Network shows are solely those of the speakers and are not necessarily the views or opinions of GoPro Radio Networks, Inc. or its affiliates. These broadcasts are provided on the understanding that they do not constitute professional advice or services. Individuals who speak in these broadcasts express their own opinions, experiences, and conclusions. GoPro Radio Networks and its affiliates do not necessarily endorse or oppose any particular opinion or conclusion discussed in these broadcasts. You may not edit, modify, or redistribute these broadcasts in any way without the express permission of GoPro Radio Networks, Inc. GoPro Radio Networks assumes no liability for any of your activities in connection with these broadcasts or for your use of these broadcasts in connection with your website, computer, or playing device.
You want to know the truth, folks? Do you really want to know the truth? Well, perhaps you can't handle the truth. But if you can listen to GoPro Radio. Tune in at www.goproradio.com. Now, have I made myself clear?
GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head. I know I do.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
All right, we're back, and we don't have that much more. It's going by too fast. We don't have that much more time to go. I wanted to ask, so nutrition obviously was a great, because you said you were exercising before, but nutrition seemed like to really make the difference.
Yeah.
At what point did you start to bring the exercise into play, and how much more of a difference did that make?
Oh my gosh, tremendous more. So I mean, the diet was on the way, but it was after I got out of the hospital, and I said, okay. I was a former runner, and I said, I'm going to try and run again. But I had arthritis in my knees and all this stuff, and I was like, I'm just going to try. I'm going to go really slow, and I'm just going to enjoy it. And it was mid-July when I got out of the hospital. It was July 10th, so this was July 11th. And I just got up, and I live in beautiful Jersey City near the Liberty State Park, and I said, I'm just gonna really just go on a little jog, and I did, and I went really slow, and I really loved it, and I thought, okay, let me try it again the next day, and so I tried it again, and I didn't go that far, but I went far enough. And I wasn't trying to like prove anything to anybody. I was just trying to move. And so then I just started to get a little bit more serious. And that was in July. By September, it was sort of flying off of me. And as I was running, and it was significant. So it was like, I can't even remember people were starting to say stuff to me in September, October. They were like, wow, you're really losing weight, and there's an old adage that, people want six-pack abs, and there's only one way to get them, and that's in the kitchen. So you have to eat right.
Yeah.
You have to eat right. It's so much a part of it.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Now, at least for me, I'm pretty disciplined with how I eat. But do you ever at any point during the week treat yourself?
Absolutely. Do you know what I had last night? Five Guys.
Oh,
did
yes.
you really?
Yes.
You're a burger guy.
Oh, I love them. Yes,
Have
absolutely.
you gone here across the street yet?
Yes.
Awesome, right?
Right, it's rocking. Yes, I love burgers. I love burgers. Part of the reason I was really attracted to the paleo diet was that, aside from the weight loss, was that you could cheat. And there was different levels of cheating.
I heard about that.
I chose the 85% level. So, meaning 85% of my diet is paleo, and then 15% of my meals I cheat. So about 3 meals a week I cheat.
Wow,
And,
that many.
Do you do it per day, or do you do it?
Depends. I may do it with snacks. So
it's not like a 5-day, 6-day, and then the 7th day. It's not like that.
There are some days like people do it that way. Yeah, and I've had days where I'm like, you know what, Sunday I'm going to cheat like crazy. And then some days and some weeks I'm like, I've cheated more than I should. But I get right back on the bandwagon. But I try to be pretty good about it, but I like having a cheat. I like being able to get pizza. I like being able to have ice cream. It makes me feel like I'm not depriving myself.
Exactly.
At the same time, I have to tell you, when I do have it, like the Five Guys was great last night, but it's a gut bomb.
Oh,
So it's like, it's great, but it's like, it's significant when I eat it, because it's like, ugh.
Now wait, in terms of like the paleo, how important is portion control? Because a lot of what I'm seeing is, just not only in diets, but even doctors are promoting portion control as a way to lose weight.
Right. Well, we overeat in America. If you look at the cupcake, 20 years ago, it was like a little tiny thing, and now it's like the size of this hat. So portion control is really important, but on paleo there is no calorie counting.
Yay! Yeah,
so
I love that.
I love it. So you're not worried about the kind of calories you're putting in, because what you're worried about is getting the right amount of protein, the right amount of saturated fat, and so you're not really concerned so much with calories or portion. You get hungry you get full really easily on it.
Oh, okay.
At first it was a different kind of full, but now I get really, like, when I have a protein, like a piece of meat and then broccoli rabe, that's enough. I'm usually really quite full from it.
I'm sorry. We have 3 minutes before we have to end the show. Yeah. No. I know. I went by too fast.
See?
Okay. Can you give us a couple of quick tips and strategies for people who are interested in trying out the paleo diet?
I would say, I would say read the book. Absolutely.
Which book? The book is called Absolutely?
Yeah, I think Corden, I think, is his last name.
Okay.
And it's just called The Paleo Diet, and it's his book. It's yellow and blue, and it's very easy to read. I really, because I went right to the source, because there's a lot of stuff on paleo. There's a woman who actually writes for women as well, but I just went right to the source because I wanted to understand it and what the concepts were behind it, and why didn't he want me to eat beans, and and I would say go slow. I don't think anything you do
I agree.
Go slow. Start slow. See if it works for you. Try one meal that's completely paleo, but it doesn't work for me. Like tomorrow, I'm going to become a vegetarian.
Right.
I'm not, and I fail every time I do that. So that would be my advice. Yeah.
That's great.
And you can do it. You
Thank
can do it.
There's actually also a great blog called Mark's Daily Apple. You should check that out.
Oh,
He has
okay.
some really great tips.
Okay. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
Well, thanks
I
for
really
having
enjoyed
me.
your time and the information that you had
Thank you
for
so
our
much.
audience.
We
So.
want to thank you for joining us, Kevin.
Thank you for asking me to come. It's been great.
So
All
we
right,
are out of
guys.
time, unfortunately. So sad. We'll talk more when we leave the studio.
Okay. Well, you can have me in. I'm only 20 pounds away from my my goal weight. So
Really?
Mhm.
Awesome.
What amount of time, real quick? I'm sorry. Like, how long did it take for you to?
Well, I started paleo June 11th. So
Wow, that's not
no, it's not that
6
long.
months.
Do you know how much you've lost so far?
I've lost a total. Well, I kind of know. The last time I got weighed, I'd lost 72 pounds, but I've lost
That is
completely
amazing.
from
Oh my God.
not from June, from when I started.
But that's
the-
fine.
When
That's
did you
awesome.
start?
That's amazing.
For June, I was 292, so now I was 44 pounds weight loss from June, and
That's
now
amazing.
I'm probably more like 50-ish. But I only weigh myself at my doctor's because I only
amazing.
want one scale because
Yeah.
I'll go nuts.
Absolutely.
amazing.
Well,
You know.
congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Amazing.
So-
All right, we have to go.
Okay, so I
We're
want to
getting the
thank
signal.
our amazing producer, Talon Xavier Washington, and our wonderful engineer for today, Tatiana Washington, and of course, our lovely regular engineer, Ayana Jones, and then our wonderful production assistant, Tiana Washington, and our amazing online engineer who was in here helping us out, moving everything. Yeah, Mohammed El Safdi. So next week.
It's a team effort.
Next week is a surprise episode. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but you'll find out during the week on our Food Wrap Facebook page. The Sexy Party Show is up next. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Here's to resolutions. Here's to health.
That's right. And the
All
Sexy
right.
Party Show is up next. Peace out.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace out.
Okay.
Man, I'm hungry. Is you looking for good eating? Just stay beating the path to the network with the best rapper. Hook you up fast. They keep it crispy with the 411. They keeping you right, chopping it up.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
And then for fresh off the vine, now you GMO free. Cause you are what you eat. You too busy chewing on the FAT fat whack. Tune into the F to the O to the O to the food rap. Listen to the kitchen on the show with the uploads. Me and Shawna G, your fly MC chef host. Food rap, food rap, food rap, food rap. It's time to eat better. I know you feel the pressure. Can I get a yes, yes, sir? A yes, yes, sir. For the hottest show on the block, from the street to the hood. Keep it locked on Food Rap Talk. Never tasted so good.
Oh, yeah, delicious.